Hello, Brigadiers and Brigadettes and hockey fans alike. This is your captain speaking. Welcome to my channel. Now let's jump into some hockey content. Hello everybody. As you can see, it is Friday, not Saturday when we normally put out videos, but I didn't want to wait too long on this, so we're talking about this, and then I'll tell you Monday we're going to be talking about potential Jack Eichel trades because that seemed to be something you wanted. But with that being said, let's talk about Jordan Binnington securing the bag. At one point, this seemed like something that would never happen, and at a really, what a lot of people would say, random and not expected point, he has signed the deal. But there is a reason why he signed this deal as of right now, and I can tell you about that a little bit later in the video. Binnington and the Blues obviously decided to put pen to paper, and that is a deal that is 6 years and worth $36 million, and has a full no-trade clause for the first 3 years of the deal. Now, Binnington is the 10th highest paid goalie in the league after this signing. I think he's tied with Jacob Markstrom of the Calgary Flames. Now that's something that'll always be weird to say. 5 years ago, this is something basically everyone would have said this would never happen, and the relationship with the Blues and Binnington has been very bumpy at times. Binnington spent the first 5 years of his career with the Blues minor league system, and at one point was loaned out to the Bruins AHL team, I believe, the Providence Bruins. I don't remember what they're called, but that was after he said he wasn't going to go down to an ECHL assignment, which takes a lot of guts, and I think that's the thing that I love about Binnington. Whether you like him or not, he's going to have a lot of passion, and he's going to, care a lot about the game and winning, and, there's been some times that it's come out and it's been crazy, but it has happened. He may even be your least favorite player in the league, especially if you're a Sharks fan or a fan of another team, maybe the Bruins. But this guy cares about winning, and apparently so much so that he took less money than he could have got, which I think some people expected that. Binnington will actually only be the 6th highest paid player on his team next season. And in regards to the money aspect, this is a quote from GM Doug Armstrong. Could there have been a little bit more money on the table if he wins the Stanley Cup again? He did not say that. Let me zoom out a little bit. Could there have been a little bit more money on the table, especially if he wins the Stanley Cup again? Yeah. But he also wants to play on a team that has an ownership committed to spending to the cap. And we've been at the cap every year. We want to continue to be there. But we want to have as many good players as we can. So that kind of coincides with that. And then Binnington added on to this sentiment when he said, quote, "Being on a competitive team was something that matters to me. And I'm not looking to crush the bank. It's not about money to me." And that's, I think, the huge thing here. When you look at this is a deal that, he probably could have signed for more, especially considering that 2019 season, if he wanted to beat that, season, he could have, but he didn't. But I think this is a deal that works out for both sides. I know some people are saying on the back end it's a little rough, and trust me, we'll talk about that towards the end of this video. But let's take a look at this, take a look at the breakdown over the next, all 6 years of the deal. So year 1, he'll be making $4 million. Year 2, he'll be making $6 million. Year 3 and 4, you could say years 3 and 4, he'll be making $7.5 million. Year 5, excuse me. No, it is both. Yes, years 5 and 6, he'll be making $6.5 million. The 4th year, as we can see, is obviously the first year he can be traded if St. Louis wanted to do so. And in that year, Binnington has an 18-team no-trade clause, then a 14-team no-trade clause in year 5, and then I think it works its way down to 10 teams in the 6th year. Now, is the time, I guess I'll just tell you whether or not I think this was a good signing by the Blues, and it's kind of a complicated answer, so I don't know. We'll see if you can figure out what my point is here. We all know, especially the people that have been here for a while, that I don't really like long-term deals. I used to say I only liked 5-year deals at max, and I think, honestly, it's probably whittled its way down to 4 years. Makes me feel more comfortable than a 5-year. So my verdict here is kind of in the air, and just pay attention to the answer if you are somebody that's going to get heated. I know some people are like that and then just freak out. So I don't like the fact that it's a 6-year deal. I'll just say that right now. I don't like the fact that it's a 6-year deal. But I do like the fact that they're not giving him something crazy like $9 million per season. And I do like the fact that they can trade him after the 3rd year, so in his 4th year, which is huge. Had he had a no-trade clause all 6 years, I probably wouldn't have liked this deal as much. Because you got to think, he's almost 28. At that point, he'd be like 33, 34 at the end of this deal. If you can't move a 33, 34-year-old goalie that's taking up a lot of your salary, then that's an issue. So I think that is a big thing here. After that third year, you can move him if you needed to, and that's huge. I don't think it's a bad deal because I think it's just like, yeah, Binnington is 28, but I think that at very worst, he's going to be a good goalie at the end of this 3-year deal when he can be traded. So I think that at the very worst situation, he's going to provide you 3 good years of being a good goalie. Now, I'm not going to say that every year is going to be a top 10 goalie, but I do think he'll be an above average goalie all of these next 3 years. Maybe he won't. Maybe I'm wrong. But I do think at the very worst, those 3 years, he'll be good. I do think that Binnington is a good goalie. And the whole thing here is St. Louis didn't want to risk losing him in free agency. That was a big thing. We talked about this. Maybe I'll leave it up here. I'm pretty sure it's the 3-question preview for the St. Louis Blues. And we talked about the fact that they're one of the most dependent teams in the league when it comes to their number one goalie, at least at this point. Maybe I hadn't done it in that video, but I think I did. And it's just talking about how, they had to risk and gamble whether or not to let Binnington leave in free agency or to pay him. So I think another thing they were afraid of too is, let's say they went on a deep run. Then he'd say 2 out of the 4 years that I've been in net, we've went on a deep run. And go from there. Actually, it might be his 3rd year. But when you look at that, I don't think they wanted to take that gamble. I don't think they definitely didn't want to take the gamble of saying, oh, well, we don't want to worry about him leaving in free agency and then the team be an issue because they're goaltending. And if you remember, I think it was in the mid-2010s, they were a good team that their goaltending was kind of a question mark whether or not they could get them to a Stanley Cup. And I think that they didn't want to run that risk again. And so I think that was a big thing here. They want to be competitive year in, year out. That's just kind of what St. Louis has done over the course of, I don't know, it's been a while. They've been a consistently good team for at least close to a decade now, if not longer. And that's it. They didn't want to lose. They didn't want to have Binnington leave and then them go to being a team that's, just squeaking into the playoffs, something like that. With the Binnington deal, I think it keeps them a dark horse. I'm not going to say they're a favorite dark horse, but they've got some good players on this team. And with Binnington in it, anything can happen. There are some good moments, there are some bad. He kind of reminds me of the Freddie Anderson situation where some nights you'll be like, wow, Freddie, that was amazing. Such a great goalie. And then other nights you'll say, wow, Freddie, what was that? But the thing is, I think there's more good than there's bad. I think that obviously they want to be competitive. They want to do this. And they just didn't want him asking for more money if something happened. Binnington is a tough goalie in terms of, what is really good, what is, around there. Is he a top 10 goalie? I mean, that's kind of depending on the season, I think. But I think it's still huge for Binnington no matter what, though. The 2019 season was amazing. This guy came from the bottom. He easily could have been buried in the ECHL. But here he is having $36 million over the course of the next 6 years. That's amazing. That's a great story. But I want to know whether or not you think this was a good signing by St. Louis. Let me know down below. Also, if you're not subscribed and you want to be, just click that little subscription button down below. And then if you like this video, please make sure to like it because that helps me out big time. Everybody stay safe, have a great day, and stay away from COVID, alright? Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes, and hockey fans in general. This is your captain signing off. Have a great week.